Well, it was recently announced that the Passion of the Christ is coming out with a sequel called The Resurrection of the Christ. And, for years, I mean, basically since Passion of the Christ had come out, we had heard murmurs that they were trying to do a Resurrection of the Christ style movie. It was a few weeks ago, it was announced that they had started filming in Italy, and I was amped about it. Well, this week it turns out that Jim Caviezel, the icon who did the iconic portrayal of Jesus in the Passion of the Christ, is no longer playing Jesus, and he is being replaced. This comes to us from Variety. I'll share my screen here. It says Mel Gibson's Resurrection of the Christ finds new Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Jaco Outinen and Mariella Garriga reveals main cast. Sorry, I know I'm butchering your name, guys. It says Mel Gibson's Resurrection of the Christ, his long-delayed follow-up to 2004's The Passion of the Christ, has cast Finnish actor Jaco Outinen, The Last Kingdom, I haven't seen that, in the role of Jesus, replacing original star Jim Caviezel. Shooting started last week at Rome's Cinecittà Studios on the film, with its main ensemble having been entirely recast. More than 20 years ago, Gibson shot the original Passion of the Christ, which was amazing, at Cinecittà, which became one of the largest grossing independent films of all time with a worldwide box office of $610 million. I wonder what they spent on that. I know it was profitable. I remember hearing that, but I wonder what their total cost was. As previously announced, The Resurrection of the Christ will be split into two films, with each part set to release in 27. Well, interesting. So they're both releasing in 27. So then it goes on to say, because of the time frame in which the resurrection of the Christ takes place, 3 days after Christ's crucifixion on Good Friday, it made sense to recast the whole film. A source close to the production told Variety. They would have had to do all the CGI stuff, all the digital stuff, de-aging, and all that. That would have been very costly, a source noted. In April, the 57-year-old Caviezel had suggested on the Arroyo Grande podcast that he was ready to reprise his career-defining role of Jesus in the follow-up. Outinen, I just know I'm butchering it, who is 36, is presently best known for his role as a Dane warrior Woland in the 5th season of Netflix's historical epic, The Last Kingdom. Gibson has described these two sequels as an acid trip, adding that he never read anything like the scripts, which the filmmaker wrote alongside Braveheart screenwriter. That's a great movie, and we're getting that screenwriter. That's good news. Randall Wallace. As the title suggests, the plot is expected to focus on Jesus Christ's resurrection. Other story details are being kept under wraps. Okay, here we go for the date release. The Resurrection of the Christ Part 1 is slated for Good Friday on March 26, 2027, while Part 2 is set 40 days later on Ascension Day. So they are on May 6th. Wow. They're doing it on the same year. That's pretty cool. That's like, that's dope. That's going to be like basically the Christian Infinity War and Endgame. Like we're making a whole freaking experience out of this. Let's do it. So, yeah, that's basically that article. So I guess here are my thoughts. And I want to preface this with, I'm super excited for the new actors and actresses that are cast. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with them. I've never seen them apart from the girl in Mission Impossible, so I don't know how good of actors or actresses they are. They look like they have a good look for it. But what I will say is I think it is very unfortunate that Jim Caviezel is not coming back. I think his portrayal of Jesus was absolutely incredible. I think it was the best portrayal of Jesus I've seen. Jonathan Rumi on The Chosen is great as well, just a different tone. But Jim Caviezel was so incredibly good. And truthfully, I know that they're saying that, he's older now. I think he's like 50 or something. But I feel like they could de-age him enough with makeup. And the reason I think that is because in the first one, he had a beard, which is covering, a lot of his face, and it's covering all of this basically. And then he had the long hair, which is, covering a lot of this. So I think with what I've seen in other films with makeup, I at first I thought, okay, couldn't they just do AGI or AI de-aging with this? And then the more I thought about it, I was like, they can't do that because like Indiana Jones 5 was not good and that budget was huge. And then like The Irishman, I remember I thought that de-aging was very distracting. And so I don't think we're there yet with AI to be able to realistically de-age someone without it taking away from the experience, because I think it takes you out of it. But with makeup, like I think that they could totally, because Jim Caviezel, it's not like he's gotten really old looking. He hasn't gotten like really fat or anything like that. He just looks a little bit older. But I mean, if you think about Oppenheimer, I mean, what they did, let's find Cillian Murphy real fast, because they made him look quite young, in my opinion, in Oppenheimer, for like his young scenes here. I'll do young Oppenheimer. Yeah, so here, let's take a look at this. Okay. So they had Cillian Murphy, who is what, upper 40s or something like that, playing like an 18, 19, 20-year-old. And I don't think it took me out of the experience or, ruined the suspension of disbelief at all. Like, I think he looks, maybe not quite like a young 18-year-old, but he looks, 20, 27, the neck is a little, saggy maybe, but like they did it for him, and he doesn't have like a beard or anything. Like with Jesus, it's like he has the beard, the long hair, it's covering up all of this. So really, you just like, if you get here looking young, like I think they could totally do it. And I get that this is supposed to take a few days after. So Jesus is supposed to be 33. So Jim Caviezel is supposed to be 33 in it. But even if you don't get him looking as young as 33, you could still get him looking, 40-ish. And again, I don't think that's going to take him out. So I guess the reason that they would, change it and change actors is because they don't want, him to be looking old and then for it to be confusing to the audience to take him out. But I think what's going to take the audience out more is people going into this, remembering Jim Caviezel and then comparing this actor to Jim Caviezel and just having a different look. Because, for me, I'm going to be I'm going to be comparing the whole time. I'm going to be like, okay, this guy's doing better or not as good as Jim Caviezel. Oh, and then I'm going to be thinking, oh, he doesn't really look like him, or I don't know. I'm just going to be like, it's just going to take me out of it because I'm going to be, thinking of the original portrayal. It'd be one thing if the original portrayal wasn't good and they just need to recast because it wasn't good. But I think that they could easily make Jim Caviezel look young. Let's look up Jim Caviezel 2025. Okay, so like, that's him. He probably colored his beard there, maybe his hair, but like, oh, you could totally do that. Cover up some of this, get the beard longer. Again, he's looking a little older there, but color the beard or do the fake beard or whatever. I think he could totally do it. So this is, to be honest, a little surprising to me. I did not see it, and it's really unfortunate because I loved his portrayal. So quite frankly, this makes me wonder if, there's not something else going on behind the scenes here, because I do think it's very possible. It wouldn't cost that much extra money because you wouldn't have to CGI it. You do makeup, you frame it right with the camera, and you use the cinematography to your advantage. Maybe you don't do really close-ups because then people see it. Or if you do really close-ups, then you go really, heavy on the makeup that day. I mean, there's ways that they could realistically do this. So makes me wonder if maybe Jim Caviezel didn't actually want to do this again. And he, I don't know, they use this as an excuse to get out of it, or if Mel Gibson didn't want him to do it again, for if there's, I don't know, maybe some tension behind the scenes. But they both sounded like that he was coming back, and both sounded like they're excited to do it with each other. And I don't know. Another thought is, if you're casting young, maybe there's a plan to do more movies and spinoffs of this in the future, and which would have to be prequels. They'd have to go into the life of Christ between, I guess, ages 30 to 33 when he's with his disciples and, going around and performing all these miracles. So maybe their plan is that they want to do that and go back. And so they're kind of wanting to start this whole, cinematic universe. Maybe they're wanting to do that. So I don't know why they're doing this, but truly what I want from now on, I know I didn't get Jim Caviezel back, but I was just thinking the other day, how sick would it be if we had Mel Gibson, who did, Braveheart, who did Passion of the Christ. I don't think he filmed Patriot, but I think he's producer on it. It had a lot of say of it. I mean, this guy's a phenomenal director. He did Hacksaw, how do you say it? Hacksaw Ridge. He did Apocalypto. I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember loving it. So this guy's a phenomenal director. So how cool would it be if he just started doing like these biblical epics and did, David and he did Noah and like all of the, like, there's so many cool stories to be told in the Bible. And so how cool would it be if Mel Gibson was just like, for the next, 15 years, I'm just going to do 4 to 5 of these movies and just do like his cool Braveheart style epics. So I don't know. I just had a thought the other day. So, this super bummed that Jim Caviezel isn't coming back, but I'm really hoping that this new cast does a great job. And if they do, I'm hoping that like they're accepted by moviegoers and that they're not just getting trolled, because this is a hard task, especially for the guy playing Jesus. Not only are you playing Jesus, which is, that's a hard thing to do, but you're also going to be compared the whole time to Jim Caviezel, who did an outstanding job. I don't know if he didn't get, I don't think, a lot of awards for it, but I think he was in talks for them and maybe nominated for them. So anyway, this guy's got some big shoes to fill, but I'm hoping that he does it, and Godspeed on that one. So what do you guys think? Do you think that it was a good idea to recast a younger Jesus, or do you think they should have kept it as Jim Caviezel? Just let me know what you guys think in the comments /chat, and we're gonna be moving on to our next topic. Hey, thank you so much for watching my video. If you like that and you want to stay up to date with more movie news, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as we'll be keeping you up to date. And if you want to watch the long form podcast version of this, go into my channel, go to the videos, and then look for a video that is, 45 minutes to an hour and a half long, and that'll be the full podcast. Thank you so much, and God bless.